Hello and welcome back. You know, one thing I found out today that I didn't know that I had, and it always helps when you read the instructions. This camera of mine I've had for about 4 years, and I have never had the instruction book out. So I'm rummaging around the box and trying to figure out a few things, see if I can't get a little bit better quality picture and a little bit operational things about it. And lo and behold, what do I find but a remote control. Now, in doing videos and putting kits together together, this becomes a problem because you're always having to reach to turn the camera off and then turn it back on and turn it back on and turn it back off and on, and it just gets to be a headache. And to me, it was getting to a point to where it was more trouble doing the video than it was putting the kit together. So I found this. I went and got a battery for it. It works fine. I'll just show you. Here we go. That's my widest shot. I can come real tight. Oh, I'm good looking. And then I can go way back. And it works just fine. I've got a start-stop button. I can even do a snapshot on this thing. So I am just tickled to death to have this. So now I can do some halfway decent videos and not have to work myself to death trying to get to the camera and edit as I film. So like I say, you know, there's no saying, when all else fails, read the instructions, because you can be amazed what you find. So there you have my hint for the day as far as things like cameras and kits. Okay, now what we're really going to do today, or we're going to start, I hadn't planned on starting, but being as it's cold and there's nothing left, nothing else to do, thought we might start working on one of my kits that I've got that I put up on my last video. It's the Office and Guard Shack. It's kit number, let's see here, 933517. This kit I know for a fact I'm going to be putting on my layout because I do have a yard, and I will need a security and a check-in, check-out for people coming and going inside the layout. So we're going to unbox this one and get started on the construction of it. So as usual, anytime you see us doing anything here or see me doing anything here, if you've got an opinion or a suggestion or just a complaint, type it in there, baby. You ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings. So let's unbox this thing and see what we got. Okay, let's see what we got here. See if I can open this thing up without slitting my wrist here. Cornerstone Office and Guard Shack. Get that glare out of there so you can see a little bit better. Looks like a fairly little simple kit. I don't know if you can see the measurements on it down there. Probably help you out some, give you some kind of idea about what the size is. And again, this is kit number 9333517. Now, I've got all kinds of Walthers kits. Now, I don't know why, I just like them. I just kind of the first thing I stumbled across, and that's why I buy them all the time. So I've got kits out there I'm probably not even going to be able to use, but we're going to put them together. So let's see what we got here. According to this, it's got a corrugated construction, main office building, a guard shack, realistically painted signs, security gates, and manufactured for the diesel era. And it is a Cornerstone HO kit. So let's just set this right here. And as you can see here, there's not a whole bunch to this kit. This probably take longer to paint it than it will put it together. You find me some scissors here, and we'll open this baby up. way. So now let's see what we got here. Oh yes. Free trial issue of model railroader. Yeah, that's okay. So much for that. And for kit shortages or defective parts or spare parts, here's your request line, phone numbers. I've only had one instance where that I had to use that. So, but they helped me out quite a bit. So here is the instructions. Nothing here looks really all that difficult. It's just all on one page. Let's see, basically before assembly, check kit for proper number of parts, cut and file flash from parts, sand edges to ensure right angle joints with no gaps between parts. I'll have to make a note about that, because I tell you what I've been running into. A lot of times these walls will not fit together on the corners because they're bowed. I have been able sometimes to use clamps like these to let me see what I got there to keep them together. But I saw somebody was taking just strips of balsa wood, like I don't know, maybe like a .125 square balsa wood, and putting in the corners of your building. That way, if you put a light in there, there's no gap, so the light doesn't shine through the gap. So that's probably what I'm going to do with this. It says you can paint this kit with a brush, spray can, or airbrush. If you plan on painting, you should consider painting corresponding parts before installing windows. Weathering is optional. So that looks like that's fairly cut and dried. That's fairly simple. Just the one page. Nothing. Seems like just, quite a few little parts there, and then right down here we've got our signs for the gatehouse and everything. Of course, that's going to be black and white. Huh. I would have hoped that would have been decaled in color. So let's see what we got here now. Nothing loose. And here's our roof. That looks like probably what I'll do right there is get some electrical tape, not the smooth kind, but the I'm not sure what they call it, but it's kind of rough on both sides, and give that roof a little texture there. You don't see too many roofs real smooth. We've got this is the gate. Let me see here if we can get this over here so we kind of know what we're looking at. Yeah, this would be your gate right here right in here. That's what that's going to be. And here's our glass for the buildings. And here is the main building itself. And here's the main building itself. And here's your small gate building right there. So not going to be any big deal to paint those. And here's our base. Here's the base for the main building. Here's the base for the little guard shack. Here's our windows and our doors, and our looks like we've got probably I'm not sure what this is. Let me see what this big. Oh, this right here is the roof. That's the roof. So, well, not going to be too much to that. That looks like that's going to be a fairly easy job. And thinking about a kit like this, not necessarily the size of this kit, but I hate to open up the kit and then parts just go flying everywhere, because you just never know, if you're missing one or two, or so it's just easier to keep up with. So, tell you what, let's think about painting this thing, and we'll just kind of go from there. This shouldn't be too big a job at all. So we'll we'll get started painting it. Okay, what I'm going to do when I paint this, of course, I'm going to paint the back side of this black, so that when I'll put a light in here, and then that way my building doesn't glow. Put me a good coat of black primer painted here, keep my building from glowing. And before that, though, I'm going to mask the front of this here, so that we don't. If I can get this off of here, so that the black paint does not spray all over the front of my building. So, like, we're going to put that there. You see what I'm doing there. Let me get this out of the way. Move this right up here. Move this up where you can see a little bit. There you go. Okay, got that there. Yeah, well, I'll take something kind of, because that black paint will creep in there if you don't get it sealed there real good. We're not going to sit here and film me doing the whole window. I just want you to see me doing this one. Get that there. Okay, now let's just do one more here. Then we'll do the door. I'm overlapping it here so that I can get in that crease, and that way my paint doesn't seep through. So, kind of see what kind of idea I got to do. Tell you what I'm going to do. Let's get one of my trusty blades, and let's just cut this out. And you're not getting to see what I'm doing, are you? Alright, what I want to do is kind of cut this off right here. It always helps to use a fresh blade. These cuts a lot smoother. There we go. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, don't get in a big hurry with this. Take your time, be patient with it. Remember, it's a hobby, so anytime you start putting pressure on yourself, you take the fun out of it. Next thing you know, you won't be doing it anymore. It's kind of like kind of having a job you have to get up every morning and go to that you hate. Sooner or later, one or two things will happen. You'll just quit working, get fired, or you'll just quit and find someplace else to go to drive you crazy. Put me another little piece of tape on here on this window. Now notice I'm putting the tape on the front of the building. It's not to. Here's the back, which I was going to spray paint black, so you can see where the tape is. And just to be sure, I'm going to take this sanding block here and just kind of go down smooth that off a little bit. Don't want to do it too hard there. Just go down, get your edges, make sure there's nothing rough on there. Especially down here on the bottom of the building where it fits to the base. That way, if you don't get it good and smooth down there, your building won't sit square. And notice I'm not being real rough with it there. I just want to knock the edges off of it. And I tell you what I better do, because I can see right now this has got little ridges in it right through here. As soon as I spray paint, that is going to crease. That's going to go right into those creases, and I'll have black paint running off of them. So let's see what let's do. Let's put me some tape right there. Right there. Okay. One more time.
Twisted his ankle late in the game. About 4 or 5 games, we can't recall who exactly it was against. But this one, not as close as that one was getting, which they get. Finishes at the rim. He's got 4. So Coach Donovan get a chance to rest some of this.
There we go. See what I've done there? That's the back. That's what I'm painting. So that's where we're going to do all those that way. We're going to do all those. Let me get this right here. We're going to do all these parts this way. Get them right like that so you can see. So that's how we're going to do it. So let me finish up the rest of these, then we'll go paint it here just a little bit. Okay, as you can see, I've got it all taped up now, and this is just the main building. I haven't went to do the guard shack a little bit later. So got the front of the main building taped up, and I'm going to go take her outside and paint it and see what she looks like. Oh, and before I go out and paint, I want to show you something. If you've ever seen these things, they are you pick them up at Walmart. I'm sure just any store back in the cooking section, but what they're for is when people make cakes and pastries and things like that, they put them. That's just a little paper pan. Here's one that hadn't been painted on, but they really make it nice, convenient to put this on your turntable if you got a spray booth like I do. You just put your, I'll just take these. Oop. And I can take them, set those in my spray booth, and spray paint them, and they will not be going anywhere. Fold this little piece of tape under there, kind of tapes them to the. And as long as I don't hit them with a jet spray of air, they're not going anywhere. So I'm going to take them outside and paint them. Okay, now as you see, what I did while I took the other main building out and was painting it, so I came in and got the small building taped. So see my little paper plate here. I just used tape it on there. That way it's not going to fly off there. So that's let's go out there and we'll get this one painted, and then we've got to make a determination once that black dries on that primer on the inside what we're going to paint the outside. I've got something tells me along the lines of what I'm looking at here, maybe a sand color, just like it is on the building. I'm not sure. That's maybe a sand, maybe a yellow. Not too sure, but I've got some stuff out there we can play with. We'll see what we do with it. So let's go paint this one. Now what I'm going to do is cut out my bases. This one for the main building, and this will be for the guard shack, and get those painted too. Probably going to paint those just a gray. Won't do any taping here. I'm not too concerned about getting it on the back side, but got this for the main building, and guard shack's right here. Got doors and windows here and another roof for the guard shack, so we'll worry about that later. I like to just turn these over and make them as flat as I can. Just makes it easier to snap cut these parts off the sprue. They come right off of there. Let's see here, there. No, it's a little bit better here. Easy does it. Right there. And right there. And once again, I'm going to file off that little piece that's always left after you cut. I always try to cut as close to the piece as I can. That way I don't have that much to sand off. This detail like this is really going to make your kit look better, because if you don't have these things sticking out that don't look like they belong there. There we go, got that good and smooth. Yeah, there we go. Also, I've got a rag out there that I wipe these off real good before I start spray painting them. That way I don't get any of this sanding dust on them. And let's get this off of here. These things come off pretty easy, so you don't have to dig into it and make you a big gap in your plastic. See, that's just a little bit there. And I just kind of run it around the edges there just to smooth it out a little bit. So there we've got our base, got it ready to go paint. That's the bottom side of it, and this will be the top side of it. So this will be the side we paint, and this is the base for the guard shack, and this will be the top piece. And let's get a little bit better light down here. Well, the camera don't go that far, but anyway, we'll get this painted and let it be drying. So, go paint that and be right back. One thing I noticed about this kit, and I don't like it already, is, and I might have already mentioned this, but if you'll see this right here, these are your signs that go on the building and your gates. You got 2 stop signs, speed limit sign, and please check in at office sign. They're in black and white, so I think that's kind of cheap. I'm going to figure out some way to get me some red and white stop signs and some signs here with a little bit more recognizable colors, because that to me that looks kind of cheap. Kind of surprised they did that with this. You thought you could have put some halfway decent decals in here. Well, it's out there drying, so there's not really much we can do right now. So as soon as that gets through drying, we'll come in and get probably get our flip it over and get to see what color we want to paint our building here. Like I said, I'm thinking a sand color. Not too wild about a blue. May go blue, but figure out what we want to do there, and of course do the same thing with the building down here. So as soon as we get it dry from the outside, backside is dry, then we'll do something with the front. Okay, now let's see how good our paint job did here. Just went out and brought it back in. This is the main building, and we're going to peel the paint, this tape back off of it. There we go. That's the front of the building, or the side of the building, and that's the back. So we got us a good coat of paint there. Flip that up there. Let's see what the other ones did. This is the long piece that goes across the back. Big thing here is we just want to make sure we didn't get a lot of bleed over, which, see, there we go. Got just a little bleed over in there, but I think when we get the outside of this painted, it's going to take care of that. Get the other side here. This is one I got so much tape on. Always one little piece there that wants to stick, doesn't want to come off. And there we go. And there's the front of the building. Front door, windows, and your back. Now what you could do, and I have done this before, is after you've painted the interior black like this to give you your primer so you can put lighting in it and your building won't blow up, is you can come in and get you a good coat of white primer and put across this, because white will reflect light better than black will, and even though you've got the black up there, it still won't absorb through your, or show through your building. So I have done several buildings like that where I've painted the inside black like this for the primer, and then come on back later and put a coat of white to reflect my light. But I generally do that in a big building. Something this size, you probably just use a little a wheat bulb of some type, a real small low voltage bulb, so it won't probably won't matter. So looks like we're in good shape there. Now this is the shed, the guard shack right here. Now let me get over where you can see it. This is the guard shack right here that we're going to untape. Did the same thing there, just gave the inside of it a primer coat of black. That turned out pretty good. That's the outside wall. Inside. Now I would imagine on something like this we could probably paint the inside a different color, because it's more of a little smaller, and you know, might make our security guard a little bit happier if we had it some color other than just old black. And there we come, one of the other pieces. Turns out to be okay. And if we can get this one off. I always get tape stuck to me everywhere. I'm bad to knock things over and things stick to me. Okay, there's the other piece of the corner, of the building, side wall, and inside. So there you have it. So that turned out all right. Now let's go see what else we got we can play with. Well, here's my colors. I've kind of narrowed it down to, and I just can't make up my mind. Now here's the kit. And it's got a yellow tint to it there, so and of course that pickup truck right there is yellow, and that brings that out. That's kind of a yellow, but I'm not sure whether I want to go with a yellow like this, or kind of go with maybe the ivory, or whether the sand would look a little bit better. So I don't know. What do you think? What do y'all think? I don't know. The what? The ivory? Nah, I can't do the ivory. I did a building with the ivory, and it was okay, but I really wasn't. So let's go. I tell you what, let's do. Let's just go with the sand. That's really what I was really thinking about doing, was going with the sand. So thanks for the opinion. We'll just do it that way. We'll just go with the sand. Okay, everybody, I tell you what, let's just call this part one. All the parts are finishing drying. Want to make sure they get completely dry before I get to fooling around with them in here in the with glue and adhesives and that kind of stuff. So we'll just call this part one, and then I'll get this posted, and everybody can take a look at it and like I say, I appreciate you watching. If you got any comments, questions, anything like that, feel free to throw them up there for me to see. What I will do on the very last video, or I might even do it on this one, is I'll do a copy of this instruction form here in probably a JPEG format, post it up on the YouTube up on this video, and that way you can kind of, if you're interested in the kit, you can at least go in there and take a look at it and see if it's something that might fit your need. So might help you out a little bit. So anyway, let's call that a day, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and so long.